So here we are in my booking room, the tournament for the NXT Championship. Last week in my detailed storyline breakdown segment, I talked about the NXT title picture and how I thought the best way to crown a new champion was to go with an 8-man tournament. The decision was made by NXT WWE management to go again with a 6-man ladder match with qualifying matches. Now, they used the 6-person ladder match to crown the first North American champion, the first women's North American champion, and they're using the 6-man ladder match again for the NXT title. It seems like every time they have to crown a new champion in NXT, they're going with that 6-man or 6-woman ladder match every freaking time. So the new NXT champion will be crowned on February 3rd, 2026. But today, I will go forward with my idea of an 8-man tournament that would bring drama, set up new fresh feuds, and get NXT going in a few directions that no one expects. So let's enter my booking room and see how I would be booking an 8-man tournament pitting Ricky Saints, Leon Slater, Ethan Page, Josh Briggs, Lexis King, Joe Hendry, Tony and D'Angelo, and Myles Borne. So let's see how, if I were head of WWE Creative, I would have booked this tournament to crown a new champion. So we start with round number 1, the quarterfinals. Match 1, Ricky Saints versus Leon Slater. Saints enters with redemption on his mind, determined to reclaim the title he lost to Obafemi. Slater brings speed and aerial fireworks, pushing Saints to the limit, but in the end, Saints uses his cunning to counter a high-risk move and score the win. Match number 2, Ethan Page versus Josh Briggs. So it's heel versus heel. Page flaunts his North American Championship and mocks Briggs as just muscle. Briggs fights hard, but Page's experience and opportunism carry him through. Ethan Page wins with his finisher. Lexis King versus Joe Hendry. A clash of personalities. King's arrogance versus Hendry's charisma. Hendry wins the crowd and shocks King with a clean finish, setting up a feel-good moment. And match number 4, Tony D versus Myles Borne. Tony's new persona adds intrigue, but Borne's technical mastery steals the show. After a grueling contest, Borne scores the win. So we get to the semifinals. Ricky Saints versus Joe Hendry. So Saints mocks Hendry's antics, turning the match into a battle of ego versus charm. Hendry fights valiantly, but Saints' ruthlessness prevails. And then we have Ethan Page versus Myles Borne. Page underestimates Borne, and that's his downfall. Borne counters Page's arrogance with pure wrestling, shocking the world with a clean victory. So we get to the finals. Ricky Saints versus Myles Borne. So the stage is set. Ricky Saints, the former champion seeking redemption, versus Myles Borne, the technical workhorse who shocked Ethan Page in the semifinals. The tension is high, and the stakes couldn't be higher. The vacant NXT Championship. So Borne dominates early with crisp grappling and submission teases, forcing Saints to scramble to the ropes. At mid-match, Saints turns the tide with aggressive heel tactics, rope chokes, mocking slaps, and the near fall after his spinning neckbreaker. Borne rallies with a German suplex and locks in a crossface, but Saints escapes. Closing sequence. Borne sets up his finishing sequence, but Ethan Page storms the ringside, furious over his semifinal loss. Page distracts the referee, and Saints gives a low blow to Borne, then seizes the moment. Tornado DDT, and he hoists Borne up and hits the Rochambeau for the win. Winner and new NXT Champion, Ricky Saints. Saints celebrates arrogantly clutching the title while Page smirks at ringside. Mission accomplished. Borne looks devastated, staring daggers at Page. The seeds are planted for a Borne versus Page feud, possibly for the North American Championship. Commentary sells the chaos. Saints gets his redemption, but Ethan Page just changed the game. This isn't over, not by a long shot. So this finish keeps Saints strong, adds controversy, and sets up two major storylines. Saints as the top heel champion, with Joe Hendry waiting in the wings. Borne versus Page as heated rivalry that could headline NXT TV and lead to a North American title clash. So why does this work? Well, Saints' redemption arc becomes the backbone of the tournament. Borne emerges as the breakout star, earning credibility even in defeat. He can become the biggest threat to Page's title, and if he wins it, that could send Ethan Page to the main roster. Hendry gets his crowd-pleasing moment, and Page's loss sets up future tensions. Tony D's ambiguity remains a talking point for future storylines. So there you have it. The roadmap to crown the next NXT champion. Ricky Saints completes his redemption arc. Myles Borne emerges as a breakout star. And the entire tournament sets the stage for months of storyline. But here's the real question. Did I make the right call? Should Ricky Saints reclaim the throne? Or would you rather see Ethan Page dominate as a double champion? Could Myles Borne shock the world and become the technical king of NXT? And what about Tony D'Angelo? Does his new persona make him the dark horse we're all sleeping on? I want to hear from you. Drop your predictions, your fantasy booking ideas, and your dream finals in the comments.